All right, Arsenal getting to beat Manchester City at the Emirates for the very first time since December 2015. That's a long time. A long time.
Almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
Almost
and
8
finally
years.
they get one. Chris, is it a body blow to Manchester City? In terms of, because Arsenal are talking about the fact that they need to beat City. It's this psychological thing they need to do, and they've done it.
Maybe not no, I don't think it's a body blow because it's too early on in the season. If this was happening somewhere in March, April, then it would be a very hard one to take by Pep Guardiola. And this is the third time in 8 years under Pep, the Man City have lost back-to-back Premier League games. And the last time they did that, they came and won the next 20. So the rest of the league should be mindful. They should be hoping that they will not come back and come and win the next 2021 game. It will be game over for everybody. But coming back to this game, look, it was a game that we all wanted to see. At the end of the day, we want to see how close Mikel Arteta has gotten to his boss. He needed to show everybody that, yes, this is the man from whom I learnt my trade. Although I got opportunity to play under coaches like Arsene Wenger.
Yes.
When it came to how I should operate and do my things as a coach, this is the man. They all have that Catalan way of doing things. Yes. Playing their football in a very unique way, keeping possession, dominating, high press, winning the ball back as it went very early as you can. So we needed to see. And for the very first time in a long while, he had his selection and substitution spot on. They were missing some players, both teams. So you could clearly see that Pep's the players that Man City were missing, Pep to some extent struggled to replace.
Rodri,
De Bruyne. He had to put Kovacic and then Luis and got them to be very narrow, stay in position, don't give anything away. While Kevin De Bruyne, he was there who would express himself, would have taken a bit more risk. But these guys wouldn't do that. They need to stick to the game plan. Arsenal was missing Saka and Martinelli. But Martinelli hopefully came on and won the game for them. And then they were missing Partey, who had not played for some time. He also was on the bench. So it was very, very compact. Look, you could feel the pressure on the Arsenal team when the game started. They just couldn't build from the back. Most people were blaming the goalkeeper. I rather fell in love with him. I told you that.
Raya.
I think he was the one for the occasion because despite the fact that he didn't get the first 2 passes right, he kept doing the same thing. And once he got into his stride, he was now executing them with some form of perfection. And again, in that first half, Arsenal needed somebody to drive them forward. But because Jorginho got booked very early, tactically you wouldn't ask Declan Rice to move away from him. Because if you move and they lose the ball, he's not in the position to put in any tackle. Yeah. So stay with him and let's keep the shape and let's maintain. That was exactly what happened. So in that first half, very few chances, apart from the early chance that Man City created. Yeah. Arsenal in that first half had no shot on target. But once the game got into the second half, it was clear that something will have to give. And Pep Guardiola was the first person to send the signal, where he brought on 3 guys. John Stones, Doku, I've forgotten the third person he introduced. Then, of course, Mikel Arteta had to respond with his own 3 changes. Yeah. And you remember we did the game on rain. I was saying that, look, I would give Jorginho the first 15 minutes. Partey needed to be introduced for at least 25 to 30 minutes.
Martinelli as well.
And Martinelli as well. So Arteta again did exactly that. Now, when Partey came on, that is where Arsenal now had the opportunity to drive the ball forward. Declan Rice knew that with Partey behind him, he could go forward, he could push a bit higher and drive the ball into those open spaces, invite the Man City defenders onto him and pick the pass. Martinelli prevented Kyle Walker from coming forward in that second. In that first half, it was Trossard who doesn't have the pace, the speed, the power to go past Kyle Walker. So Kyle Walker hardly thought about him. But once Martinelli was in the game, if you're Kyle Walker, you don't want to let go of him. You need to keep him inside. And that was what happened. Now, Man City knew that when the ball got to Partey, they needed to close him down so that he would just be playing that 15, 10 yards, little intricate passes, receive pass. The only time They did not press him. And he decided he had time on the ball, picked the ball, control 10, looked up, picked the pass. Who was in the box? The left back, Tomiyasu. No Man City player anticipated him to be in the box.
Okay.
In fact, Kyle Walker had his eyes on Martinelli, but by the time he realized there was an Arsenal player in front, who was that? It wasn't Odegaard. It wasn't Kai Havertz. It was rather the left fullback. So the question is asked of the Man City team that the right winger, did he see Tomiyasu go? If he did, then that was his marker. He should have tracked him down. He didn't do that. So once Partey saw the movement and picked the pass, Tomiyasu did very well. Just headed the ball, cushioned the ball for Kai Havertz, who did very well, block control, and then laid it for Martinelli. But by that time too, Kyle Walker had lost Martinelli, who had damaged him as if he was going forward, and came on his blind side, and then he just went through. The ball was on target. As to whether he would have scored from it, I doubt, because if you look at the slow motion or the replay, Ederson had it covered, and the height, I believe, would have made Ederson or would have allowed him to make the save. It had a wicked deflection. But if you are an Arsenal fan,
you take it.
You really don't care. It's in the back of the net. You've not beaten them close to 8 years. You take that all day to put an end to that bad result against them. I think it was a very solid win by Arsenal. Yeah. Congratulations to Mikel Arteta. He got everything right. The in-coaching of the team, that is what coaching is all about, was instant. He responded to everything that Pep Guardiola did. And Arsenal, as a football club, and their fans, they will sleep good today.
Edwin,
yeah, very briefly, a couple of things. I think the first half was very balanced. And if you look at it, playing at the Emirates, I think Man City played almost the perfect away game. Yeah. The first few minutes, they had a couple of chances. Guardiola had his shot cleared off the line. Ake probably should have scored. Had either of those two goals gone in, we might be talking about a different story here. But then the moment of the change, the moment that changed the game was Kovacic's yellow card.
Yeah, yellow card.
Some might say he probably should have got a red card, but that yellow card really influenced the game. At halftime, I thought Pep Guardiola would take him off. The fact that he didn't take him off, it caused City a huge problem defensively. In the first half, Kovacic was chasing after the Arsenal players, making those tackles.
He was tracking Declan Rice most of
preventing them from passing the ball around, gaining control of the midfield. In the second half, he couldn't do that because he knew he was on a yellow card. Pep had probably shouted in his ear that don't do a Rodri, don't get another yellow card and get someone and get sent off. So he wasn't moving forward as well. He wasn't chasing Declan Rice around, making those tackles.
He lasted until Nunes, because the third change was Matheus Nunes.
And it left Declan Rice and Jorginho very free. So you could tell that from the start of the second half, Arsenal gained some control in that game. And coach has explained how they won the rest of the game. Credit to Partey. He came on and made an instant impact. We haven't seen that. His injuries have curtailed his season. I feel he can pick up from here and show everybody that he's still a quality midfielder. He comes to the Black Stars and hopefully he keeps up that form. Hopefully his minutes are maintained so that he doesn't get injured again, because Arsenal need him in that midfield. Whether it's a right back coming into midfield, whether it's a starting at midfield, they really need him if they are to make a title push.
All right, we'll see how Arsenal will respond to all of this after the international break. Man City themselves will have to respond after the international break.